Hello lads and lasses, we are going to look at today the second element of your portfolio, which is charts and graphs. You need to create at least 2 charts and graphs. The data can be pretty much anything you want as long as it is relevant and meaningful data. The whole point of your portfolio is that the images that you create provide information in some way. So in this case, the charts and graphs have to demonstrate some information and present it clearly so that information can be understood. What I'm going to do is use Excel today, and I'm going to create 2 charts. I'm going to show you how you can integrate some more graphic-y type elements so that it looks good as well as presenting the information well. So I'm going to start off by just creating some data. Doesn't really matter what the data is, so let's pick some authors, and we'll have some sales. Okay, so we'll go for J.K. for Stephen King. Go for Dan Brown. For except I can't spell it. Roll. Right, that'll do. So let's say that J.K. Rowling has sold 133,455,676 titles. Actually, let's do it. Sales in millions. Sort of silly big numbers. So if we go for 300, she sold 344 million books. Let's say Stephen King has sold 211 million books, Dan Brown has sold 132 million books, and Roald Dahl has done 288 million books. So there we've got some data. Excel is quite easy to create a chart. We just highlight the data. Well, actually, like that. But if we highlight the data, COMSA, go into Insert, and we've got a whole range of different charts. I strongly suggest that we stick to column, line and pie. Don't mess about too much with the other ones unless you really want to go fancy. But if we do, in this case we're comparing like with like. So let's have a look at columns. 3D column, and we'll pick that one. And it's picked up the chart. Now, it's already given us quite a bit of data, but this would not get you a decent grade at the moment. We need to change quite a few things. We need to put a title on the graph. Chart to show sales. Chart to show the sales of books by authors. Make sure that you correct any typing mistakes. You cannot have typos or grammatical errors in any of your portfolio work straight away. You're going to lose marks. So, chart to show sales of books by different popular authors. We don't actually need the full stop. That's okay. Legend, sales in millions, although strictly speaking, that is not required, because what we would do is we would put on axis titles. So we want a primary, horizontal or x-axis title, which would say have a primary vertical axis title, sales in millions of books. Nice and tidy. Okay, now if you wished, you could change, we can format the colour of various different columns. So we could have J.K. Rowling in red, Stephen King in yellow, we could have Brown in go. So we've got a title across the top, we've got an axis label at the bottom, axis label at the side, we've got a scale, and we've said what the scale is in, and we've got the actual data. So there we can see fairly well a good comparison of the different authors. That's pretty, but it still doesn't fit the bill because we're designing a graphical portfolio. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to whiz out to Google. We are going to look for all images. I'm going to do, I want to look for usage rights labeled for non-commercial reuse. That means that these are copyright free images that we are allowed to use. So we can try and find something that we can apply as a background. So maybe that one would be good. So I'm going to save that image. Desktop for now and call it books. Okay. Back into here. To layout. Okay. So I'm now going to right click, format the chart area, to fill it with a picture fill, from file, identify our books, insert that. Now that's far too heavy, so what we're now going to do is we should be able to turn down the transparency. That nice and faint, so it's there, but it's not distracting from the data. Okay, so we've embedded graphical images. If you wanted, you can actually, for any of these, you can actually put picture fills. So for instance, I could have a picture fill for this red. Yeah, so you can put books in there as well. That's quite a nice way of bringing in a little bit of graphics into your chart. I will quickly show you a pie chart to look at the same data. You can use different data for each one, but for this one it works quite well in either format. So 3D pie. Oh. Go. Now here again we need to take, we can take that title, just copy it. Oh, wrong. Chart to compare the book sales of various now under layout we can decide what sort of labels we're going to have, what sort of information we're going to have. It's all the usual thing. Add data labels. Percentages. I need to have them all selected actually. In millions, and you probably need to put that there. To add a little text box, say Again, we could put a background in, so if I just switch back out to Google, to image, let's find another copyright-free image, that will do. So we'll save that as image, drop that onto the desktop, to area, picture fill, books 2. Now, slightly different method we can use here. For the legend, slightly showing through. Same with the title. There we go. So 2 charts. Oh yeah, we need to do it there as well. There we go. 2 charts that both give you sensible data, meaningful data, contain graphical content. That would get you a good mark for the charts and graphs. You'd just copy these out, paste them into your portfolio. You would need to take screenshots of what you did just in a couple of places, just maybe where you're bringing in the pictures or adjusting colours. Not huge amounts, just a small amount dropped into a Word document to support. Okay, I'll see you in the next tutorial to look at box diagrams.